Let's open up with having you all introduce yourselves, however you'd like to do it, and talk about your background in particular to health and fitness and any interest that you have in that, anything you'd like to share with our members.
Ever Active Fitness is an organization that provides very thoughtful programming from a functional background to senior adults in both a group class setting as well as individual private and semi private. We go to the communities or to the homes to conduct our sessions. We started this business back in 2018 with gyms that we opened in the Chicago area. We have 5 locations throughout the Chicago area. What we found is that to serve an adult population, a senior adult population, that it would be important for us to actually go to the communities or to the homes or parks districts to be able to provide that year round. So we have started that. We're dedicated to primarily the senior fitness market.
I'm Cindy Becker, and my background is a little different. I actually come from the sports medicine world and primarily in the collegiate setting. And so, something that has actually been really part of my key role is helping us in the collegiate setting. There's a ton of collaboration, interdisciplinary collaboration, right? So, you're thinking like doctors, sports performance, sports medicine, um, you know, registered dietitians, mental health practitioners. And so in this setting, right, if we're thinking about senior living community. It's been a really fun way to work on bringing that same type of collaborative piece. So if you're thinking, right, we've got in a senior living community, you've got the resident themselves. You have some have doctors, PTs, OTs, the families, right? That's usually, that can be a really big piece. And so when you have collaboration, the continuation of care is significantly higher, and therefore, independence and quality of life. And so, I bring some of that to this space, and then we actually, do some testing as well. Again, we do a lot of things that are very science backed, and so bringing that into this space as well. So.
I'm Andrew Genovese. I've been working with senior citizens for over 8 years now. I was being a personal trainer and found my passion was for senior citizens. So I've been in the community industry in Chicagoland for a while now, working on different kind of program that will help residents from all risk to just getting their strength back up after physical therapy.
How does that work with one of our members if they were to want to engage you and have you service their seniors that live in their communities?
Yeah, that's a great question. So typically, what we like to do is come in and offer an introductory, complimentary, no charge session that the decision maker chooses for their residents. So we have a menu of various classes that we offer, and then they would choose from that list which one they think will be the most well attended class or the most appropriate for their residents. And then we will come in, perform that no charge session, get the feedback from the residents, report the feedback or any information back to the director. It could be an engagement director, activities director, executive director, whoever that person is that schedules the classes or events for their residents. But that from there, we can come in. We start typically with once or twice weekly classes and then work with the community regarding what their needs are. And then we just adjust accordingly. We make it very simple.
You talked a little bit about some of the reasons like falls, preventing falls or, getting up from a fall on your own, things like that. But can you elaborate a little further? Like, why is it important that seniors should do something like this? Like, have you all come in and work them out and give them some daily exercise, or weekly?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of us probably already know that as someone ages, it becomes extremely hard to maintain bone density and muscle mass. In fact, it's like an uphill battle, right? And so, as someone is aging, if they're not doing something, if they're not consistently overloading their body, they're not making any gains. So for example, a lot of people like to take a walk. A walk is a wonderful thing, especially for cardiovascular health. However, walking every day isn't going to stress the body enough to increase or to stimulate any type of bone density increase or muscle mass increase. And so it becomes even more important as you're aging and kind of going an uphill to be doing things like working out. Another example, you brought up mobility. One of the things that we often work on is dexterity with people. And again, if you don't use it, you lose it, right? So we know that there's neurocognitive changes, there's neuromuscular changes, and a lot of these things impact balance, right? Even something as simple as, a lot of you may be familiar with a test. It's called sit to stand. I think the research says that, even if someone is doing a sit to stand test, right, you might be looking at someone's strength, but what's actually happening is there's actually going to be a neuromuscular decline before you see a strength decline. And so it's so important to have this population stressing their body appropriately, for the strength purposes, but also for their ability to actually use their motor function. If they're not using their motor function, that declines actually pretty quickly. And then if you want to take it one step further, you mentioned, preventing falls.
Yeah.
The risk of fall is, increases. And, if you can't get up off the floor, whether it's you can't, make the neural cognitive connections, or you don't have the strength, or you don't have the mobility to do so, what happens? And so super important for so many different reasons, to be doing things on a consistent basis.
This is the first time we've done this, and we're very happy to have something like this at our conference. But each morning of our conference, we're going to have you all at the conference on site in one of our conference rooms, and you're going to do a morning movement workout exercise for attendees. And can you talk about so what, we're not going to have weights there or anything like that, or unless you happen to bring anything, but what can people expect if they want to come in and get some morning movement and get energized before they get into their, full day experience at the conference? What can we expect?
Yes, absolutely. So Andrea and I will both be running the class, one of us on each day. And you can expect, you can come in workout clothes, or you can come in your normal workday clothes. So you are going to be getting your heart rate up above the baseline. You'll be doing things like jogging in place. I think we're doing some wall push-ups. I believe we might be even doing some squat variation. But we designed this so that someone could do this in the middle of their workday. Whether you're someone who sits at a desk, whether you're someone who, is actually doing direct patient care, and so it's very physical labor. This is something that we want you to be able to take with you, start your day with it, or let's say it's, 1:00 and maybe you've been sitting in one position for a long time, or the afternoon lull has hit you. It's really designed to for you to do anywhere, just to get your heart rate pumping, to get some energy back, get some blood flow going, and keep your body moving.
Why is it important for somebody to start their day like at a conference with this? I'll give you an example of myself. I know when I'm at conferences, or even if I'm not staying in the hotel, if I'm commuting, I'm a little sluggish in the morning. I'm a little tight. Not so much alert and ready for the day, unless I get some type of movement. So why do you think it's important for an attendee, whether they're driving in or they're getting up from their hotel room, to come do something like this before they get into a conference? What are your thoughts on that?
That's a great question. One of my favorite, I'm going to go a different direction because I don't know how many people actually know this, but right, when you're sleeping, or when you're sitting for a long period of time, what happens is your stabilizing muscles can turn off, right? Downregulate or turn off. Some of you might be able to relate to this if you took a long car ride and you got out of the car and your back hurts, right? Those stabilizing muscles, they turn off. And so when you start your day, doing some light exercise, it actually is a great way to turn on your deeper system, turn on those stabilizing muscles, get your body in a position that it's prepared, especially for those who do heavy lifting, or if you're sitting at your desk, getting that blood flow. So there's a ton of benefits to starting your day out, even cardiovascularly. But I think one of my favorite things is it preps your body in a way that's very supportive to live the rest of your day.
Anything else that y'all want to share about Everactive Fitness or anything that you'd like our members to know before we end this session today?
I think that with the rigid schedule that most of the directors and staff have at the communities, I think it's important for us to share that we're what I would call, a white glove service. We come in and take care of absolutely everything.
Yeah.
We handle all the programming, the scheduling. We do the reporting back to the community if requested. But everything is taken care of. We're contracted. We are only there whenever needed, but we have the capacity of being there as frequently as the communities would like. But as far as, not adding any load to the stress or to the directors, we come in and we handle absolutely everything. So I think that's really important to mention that there's just, no additional work involved by having us come in. It's very streamlined and simple.
Perfect. Awesome. I like that. And I'm sure that a lot of our members would enjoy that as well. So, well, thanks again for the conversation. I'll look forward to seeing you in just a few days. And for all of our members, this is a great way to start the day at the conference. So I'll be there, and Everactive Fitness will be there, and it will be a great opportunity. Thanks again, folks.
Thanks for having us.